Hello, welcome. Amanda here with Crafting with Amanda. If you're not a part of the Crafting with Amanda community, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any videos. This is a Cascade card that we're doing, and I do have a couple other samples of cards that I did with the Boo Crew collection that are on my blog. I'm using the mix-in papers from the September, October Close to My Heart catalog. I am a Close to My Heart maker, so most of the products, most of the tools I use are from Close to My Heart. And the colors that I'm kind of focusing on today are candy apple, shortbread, nectarine, and then I used avocado. And these are the brand new layered leaf dyes. And they're great. If you're interested in them at all, I strongly recommend that you find it in your budget to order them sooner rather than later. I have a feeling they are going to sell out. So these Boo Crew cards that I'm showing now will be on my blog, and you can kind of take a look at what I did. On the first one that I showed, I actually layered papers. I didn't use the two-sided paper for the cascade effect. And now I'm just showing you, I'm cutting out some of these thin cuts, and I'm just going to do a variety of flowers. I tend to cut my paper either 5 inches wide or 4 inches wide and run it through, and I do 2 sheets at a time, so it goes very quickly. When I first got this thin cut, I wasn't really looking at these flowers that have the centers of them cut out. They were fine, you know, I knew I'd use them, but some other consultants, or makers, excuse me, had done some beautiful layouts with them and put together them for cards, and I was just, all right, I need to pull this out and play with them. I had played with some of the other flower images and also with the leaves. I absolutely love the stitch leaves, but look at how these turn out, and then you can just layer the different centers together and give it multiple stamen, if that's what they're called. And I'm just having fun and playing with them. And so what I'll end up doing is sorting these all into the piles of the same shape as together, and then I'll assemble them, but I don't make you watch all that. And I apologize if my voice is a little off today. I'm stopping and taking a sip of coffee frequently just because I'm fighting a little bit of some allergies. And here, like I said, I'm just taking the centers out and playing with them and seeing what works. And I went ahead and cut out leaves in the shortbread because I thought those would be fun in some fall cards. And if you ink the edges, it just adds another dimension. So here they all are, put together, the different combinations. You can just have fun with them. And I chose this, it's kind of a yellow or the shortbread color on the back side and the gray plaid on the other. And you cut 2 pieces that's 5.5 by 12 inches long, and that's going to start your cascades. And then you need to mark 3 inches up from the bottom of your card, and you're going to cut that. Now you'll see here I have to switch it because I'm cutting the top part off, which gives you that cascade effect with the angle. So then you just line it up in your cutter from that 3-inch mark, so you're keeping 3 inches of the paper and cutting off that top smaller triangle. And I think my blade needs replaced, so it's leaving a little bit of a rough edge. That's just what we get today, I guess. So you'll do the same thing on both pieces of paper. They are going to look identical if you want your cascades to have the every other pattern on the front. And I think I will show you later with one of my samples that I keep in my book. If you haven't seen my book of fun folds, I'm thinking about doing a video showing you guys how to do that because it's really nice having everything in one, or all the instructions in one place. I'm trying to clear out the, what do you call it, the groove on my cutter, hoping that maybe if that's cleaned out that it'll cut a little better, and it did make a difference. So just keep in mind that you do not mirror these so that like the big side is on each end. They should be identical, facing the slope is the same way. And the only thing that changes is how you do your cuts. So you score both sheets at 4 inches and 8 inches. And now I'm going to draw a center line. So at 1.5 inches on the 3-inch side, and at 2 3/4 inches on the 5.5-inch side. And then you just draw a line connecting those 2 dots, and you'll do the same thing on both papers. So now that that's done, or almost done, I'm going to kind of talk you through. So on these cuts, they're the same to this point. You've folded them the same, you've marked them the same. But now on one of the papers, you're going to go to the 10-inch and 2-inch marks and cut from the center line down. And then on the other paper, you're going to go from the 10 and the 2-inch marks and cut from the top down to the center line. And then at the 6-inch mark, you're going to do the opposite. So you have 2 cuts at the top along the cascade or the angle fold on one, and you have 1 on the angle fold on the other, and the 2 cuts are along the bottom flat edge. And here I'm just taking my power eraser and erasing that line. And we are ready to set this up. So you're just going to score and reinforce those scores with your, I use a bone folder, or actually I use my scoring tool in this case because it was right there on my desk. And now you can get your first glimpse of the 2 sides of paper. And that's why I really liked it in the Boo Crew, because they were vibrant and fun. But I wanted the flowers to be the star of this card. I have a friend that loves all flowers, but especially fall flowers, and I wanted to create this to send to her. And here you can see that their gray is on like every other one, it cascades down. All that's left to do now is to have fun and embellish. And I pulled out, like I had said, I had done some blue flowers, blue and white flowers, I think last week, and I thought I would incorporate those in. So these are the sapphire and white daisy are the colors on there. And I'm just grabbing different colors and gonna kind of audition, see what works. I need to pull it up because for me, when I look at it, I want to see it from the front of when it would be standing up as a display. If you haven't got a tweezer, reverse tweezer, for holding some of your glued on embellishments, remember that paper clips also work really well for that. And as I said, on one of the Boo Crew cards, I cut papers to go on the front. I just used black cardstock as my base and cut them just like we did the plaid papers here. But I went ahead and did 1 3/4 inch wide strips, and then they vary in length. And the first one is 3 1/4, then 4, and then 5 1/4. And then what I do is, because they have the square top and I want to match the angle at the top of the card, you just kind of hold them on your piece and push them up about 1/4 inch. I just use a pencil and mark on the back side where that angle is, take it over to my cutter, and you can cut the angle. So here's a sneak peek at the October stamp of the month. It's called Wildflower Friends, and I loved the sentiment on this. I appreciate everything you do. It also has a thinking of you, love you forever, a little note, sending sunshine and hugs. But this was on my desk, and I saw that sentiment, and I just had to grab it. So I have these tags that I believe these are just a punch. They're not from the Cricut or a die. And I'm grabbing some shimmer brushes, and you just kind of squeeze it a little to get it started. It didn't even need to squeeze enough to drop onto my part of my nonstick pad. I've cut one into, I think, 4 pieces, and it's just really convenient to have them right there, easy, and not take up all the space. So it just adds a little bit of shimmer to it, and I did it in the paprika color, so it kind of has that fall burnt orange. And then I just edged the edges of the stamp, sorry about that, in the sapphire just to give it some more depth. And this is gonna kind of balance in with the sapphire blue flowers that I'm gonna take and use here. And I think I said in the beginning that I chose the avocado cardstock, but in the paper pack itself, I believe it's evergreen. And I wanted a more softer, muted green versus the dark of the evergreen. So you're not limited to the selections they recommend. You can do your own thing. And as you can see, I just pulled out some sapphire leaves that I cut with the die a while ago too. Like I said, I absolutely have fallen in love with this die, and it doesn't matter what color you cut, they're gonna be cool. And you can embellish however you want. I just caution you to not go too wide. Like I ended up, I think, with that leaf going a little too wide, so it's not gonna fit into a standard envelope. But for me, I'll just push it up and it'll be fine. And again, for height, you can go up to the top of the cascade points on the left and right, but you really don't want to go too much higher than that, or again, you're going to have a custom card. So here I'm just grabbing my gold thread and I double it up and just make a tag for, or a loop for my tag. And it's just one of those things, I didn't want to just have the tag sitting on there. I wanted to anchor it and make it included in the display of flowers. So I'll tuck it under this one flower leaf and I'll just kind of hang over top of it. And here's the downside of doing multiple strands in one string, is that you have to make sure that all of those strands then get over top of your image. And I'm just taking a look, kind of looking, okay, is my blue balanced? Is this balanced? So I'm going to add another of the sapphire flowers to the back so that I have my 3 of those. I have my 3 spots of the candy apple or the nectarine. And I'm learning to take a step back from my cards, just stop and look and see, okay, what do you think? Do you like it? Is it, yep, there, that flower fell off. So I'll put that back on and hold it a little bit longer. And this is where I'm deciding, does it need something more? And I think it does. In that lower corner, I don't know if I want to do some splashes or if I want to stamp an image. I have these wooden hearts that are just on my craft table from the last layout I did, and I thought this is perfect. So I grabbed the green Tombow glue, and if you haven't heard me say this a million times, I use that on some of the embellishments with the acrylics and the wood shapes because it dries with a little bit of tack left to it. So here's how that cascade looks from the top. I tried to give you a look of it popped up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to join me. You can also find me on Facebook, Crafting with Amanda, or my blog. And here's some other videos you might like. Have a blessed day.